Good morning. We are live, hopefully.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you. You might want to stand back a bit because you're probably a bit too close to the mic. It's probably very loud. Yeah, you can come on in. So, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Twisted Barrel Lunchtime Live. As you can see, I have a guest with me today, so a huge welcome to Rich. We're both sporting silly hats this morning.
It's cold.
Because it's cold. Have you just let them down as well? Look, one's flopping. Up and one's down.
It's a little bit behind, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about a 20-second delay on it.
Oh, right, that's really disorientating, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, it's Rich. Rich obviously hasn't been on one of these live sessions before, so he's just getting used to to what's happening and things like that. So bear with us 1 second while he catches up and realise what's happening. I'm just going to skip through
what's
a
going
few things. So welcome to the third Lunchtime Live. Thank you very much, and I will just let you know what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to mention a couple of things. It's been a year since we were closed. I mentioned last week how it was about a year since the government decided that people shouldn't go out and visit pubs and things like that. I'm not going to dwell because I know we're all pissed off with it a year on. But I will mention it. It would be remiss of me not to mention it one way or another. So I'll mention it briefly. I'm going to cover off opening plans again because we keep getting loads of questions, and I just want to I don't want it to sound like I'm banging the drum. But I just want to keep mentioning it just to make sure that everybody kind of hears us. I know some people don't listen to the live things, they don't necessarily catch everything, and we just want to make sure that we cover off every single avenue to get the message out there to people. So if you don't mind, I will mention it again briefly today. I mentioned the last couple of things around crowdfunders. So last couple of things. I'll mention crowdfund going forward as well a little bit more, but I'll keep it brief today because there's not a huge amount to mention on the back of the crowdfund. I brought Rich here, as I said, who has worked for us. How long have you worked for us, Rich?
Is it 2 years?
2 years have you been? Is that what it is? I have no idea. Don't ask me.
Is it a March to start? I don't know.
You've been here longer than...
rubbish with dates.
The thing is, what does the last year count for? That's the other thing, isn't it? Because the amount of work that people have done over the last year is completely different to what it would have been in normal years anyway, isn't it? So in dog years, probably, it's about 20,000, but who knows? So I'll introduce Rich a little bit here, and we can tell you a little bit more about what he does and try and remember how long he's worked for us. I started last week doing a bit of a customer focus, so I'm going to carry this on this week. I'm going to hand over to Rich to do that as well, because he's one of his roles with us is around sales, so he talks to a lot of our trade customers quite regularly and has a good handle on who they are and what they do and things. I might pitch in a couple of times if I've got anything worthwhile to say. And then I'm going to go through the main event for today probably is upcoming beers. So we've got quite a lot of beers coming up in both keg for the first time in ages and can. So we'll both cover off a couple of bits and pieces around there. So and then that'll probably be about it, I think. It should take us up to about 1:30. In the meantime, and if there is any time, then we'll cover off questions at the end. So if anybody has any questions, then by all means message them. Just seen Janet. Good afternoon, Janet. How are you doing?
I'm probably going to be flat.
Don't say you're playing with your flaps.
Sorry.
I don't think that goes down well.
We'll get cut down. We'll get taken off air.
Facebook Live don't like that kind of thing. So, very briefly then, like I say, 1 year. So it's been, who'd have thought it a year ago that we'd still be here? I think we've traded for about, we opened at the beginning of August, I think it was. No, it was beginning of July, wasn't it? And we were open until around the end of October. So July, August, September, October, 4 months out of 12 we've actually been open. And I think we've mentioned on Facebook a couple of times what effect that has had from a trade point of view, from turnover and things like that. So yeah, it's been pretty abysmal. Look, I'm very aware loads of people are in the same boat. We're really lucky that we are still going. It's been touch and go a few times. At the beginning of the year, particularly when the new lockdown was announced, but there was no indication of any kind of financial grant along with it. That was a really, really tough time. January itself was awful. shame on you, whoever does dry January, because it's terrible it's terrible in normal years, but this year was absolutely awful.
Can't believe people are still doing it.
I know. I'd have thought people, especially coming out the new Christmas and New Year, not being able to go to the pub, and then deciding, oh, we're in lockdown again, I might as well give up alcohol for the month. That just seems like the most backward decision.
Are they mad?
From my point of view. But hey, I'm biased, so I would say that. But then effectively, I think Richie posted the other week, and if anybody's read it, then I apologise for repeating ourselves, but the last 5 months, we've taken about 1 month's worth of trade. So in normal times, we'd have taken, effectively it's taken us 5 months to turn over the same as we would normally have done in 1 month. So yeah, it's dire at the moment. But hopefully, things should look up. Obviously, we're being told it's all around data, not dates. I think that seems to be the buzz phrase from our government at the moment over whether or not they're going to stick to the currently proposed relaxation of restrictions and things. So yes, we are hoping that will continue and we'll be able to open from the 12th of April. Yes, we are planning to open as soon as we possibly can. But obviously, we've been here before. We've been here a number of times before, and I don't want to promise you anything and then have to take it away. So we're being very, very careful. I know it's frustrating, but it's frustrating for all of us. We don't want to say, yeah, let's go and get people booked in, get loads of plans in place, and then it be pushed back months or weeks or whatever it might end up being. So I think for the time being, we're going to just say to you, we will be open as soon as we possibly can. And we'll be able to trade with you on site. Obviously, initially outside is the current plan, but hopefully indoors soon after that. Preferably before the summer. Absolutely, fingers crossed. Everything crossed, I think. But you know, we have to wait and see. The other second thing on the side of that as well, that's worth mentioning, and again I mentioned last week, there's loads of work going on out of Fargo. I will take some pictures later today and I'll share some on Facebook and Instagram and things so you can actually see. They've started the building works right outside our front doors in the courtyard bit in front of us, the gym next door to us, the Dashing Blades and Dirty Kitch and Rock and Roll Parlour and things like that. In front of all of our units in that courtyard is a whole load of works going on, so they've started digging the ground up. And the plans are, you've seen it in the paper, I think I mentioned it last week again, they're opening something called Factory, which is Coventry's first indoor street food venue. And the works outside are part of that, whereby they're creating a mezzanine floor outside, so that would give us loads more covered space outside, which would make the whole space much nicer through a larger portion of the year. Obviously, it's always weather permitting being able to open and use the outdoor space, but at least with a covered area, then it should just keep the worst of the rain off us and customers and things like that. So that's our aim, is that when that's available, when the building work is done, we don't want it to open when it's unsafe, and we don't want to bring you onto a building site, but as soon as it's safe for people to come on site, then we will be using, by the permission of Fargo, that outdoor space there for people to be able to come and have some drinks and enjoy the rest of Fargo as well, because obviously there's a whole load of other people all around here. I've mentioned Dirty Kitch, I've mentioned Dashing Blades and Rock and Roller. In the market hall, we've got other places. We've got Nikki at the Green Unicorn, we've got Joe at Not Just Jams, and we've got Steve in the Sergeant Bilko's Emporium. We've got Big Comfy Bookshop. I know I'm not mentioning everybody, so I apologise for missing anybody out. I'll come back to it.
Record shop.
Yeah, we've got Just Dropped In, which is the record shop. We've got Satyr Games as well. We've got the cookie place, the cookie and the brownies place. I can't remember what the name of it is. My memory is terrible. I should have prepped all of this and got the names on it. But there is tons of stuff on Fargo, and we all want you to enjoy it as best as possible. So yeah, the sooner anybody of us can be open, obviously, regardless, I think apart from us in our courtyard, we can't open without outdoor space, but from the April the 12th, non-essential retail is being allowed to open as well. So get yourself booked in, get your hair done at either Rock and Roller or Dashing Blaze, and come and get all your other gifts and retail stuff from everywhere else on Fargo as soon as possible, and help everybody out, because yeah, we and lots of others need it at the moment. So your custom is much appreciated in this time of need. So like I say, that's all I'm going to talk about on that. Last thing, I'm sporting, Alan mentioned it last week, that I wasn't wearing the t-shirt, but I am wearing our t-shirt this week. So I'm just going to lean in to make sure that you can see it. I did show it last week. I did a live opening, and well, it would be an unboxing if it was in a box, but it was an unbagging, effectively. So yeah, all of the t-shirts. Jen has literally just left. Unfortunately, she had to get out so that she could make the deliveries this afternoon and not go too late into the evening. So Jen has just left with the Coventry, everybody's delivery, so she'll be doing all of the Coventry, any of the CV ones, and basically anywhere that would be able to get a local delivery from us on a CV postcode, Jen is doing. I dropped off all of the further afield, except for Birmingham, which Green Duck did the other week. All of the further fields, so I think there's a Worcester, there's some Milton Keynes, there's some Scotland ones. We even had a couple of international ones, which I only realised when I went to organise the actual deliveries. We had somebody from the best sounding road ever in Port Macquarie in Australia. The road was called, get this, the Ruins Way. The Ruins Way. Like, talk about bleak and dreary as far as a road name, but also the most metal goth name that you can probably think of, which yeah, meets our sensibilities massively. So yeah, we've had a couple go over to Australia, and we've had Germany was the other location that we actually delivered to as well. So all of the t-shirts are gone. They're winging their way to you now, and they will be arriving on your doorstep either today or within the next couple of days, or if you're further afield, within the next week or so, with the International Royal Mail Post. I will come on to, I won't mention it this week, crowdfund, but I will come on next week and talk a bit more about brew days for people. I'm aware there's obviously, compared to the number of people that probably listen to this and watch it, compared to how many people actually bought brew days, it's a very, very niche subject to cover, but I do want to make sure I cover it off. So we'll come on to brew days coming forward. The other thing I'm hoping to have next week is a bit more information. I teased it last week, a bit more information on a bit of a guided tasting that we want to do for you. So we'll be looking at probably putting forward a pack for you to be able to buy from our shop. And with that pack, it'll be limited numbers because we can't have tons of people on the live streams. But what we'll do is have a limited number of packs available that you'll be able to buy. We'll deliver it to you, and then with it, you'll get a code and everything like that that you need to be able to jump onto a live stream, a Zoom call or a Google Hangout, whatever we decide to do. And then we'll have a little chat with you. We'll spend a couple of hours talking you through the beers that we've got, have a little bit of a taste of a few of them. There won't be huge numbers because I don't want to spend all night and have everybody paralytic on a live call. That would be irresponsible of us, to say the least. But, you know, four or so beers through an online tasting session, and we'll have them up on the online shop hopefully within the next week or so. I just need to finalise a couple of details. It's a lot more complicated than you think trying to figure it all out. So, but yes, so that's kind of my main bit done. I'll come back on again in the end. But now let's introduce you to Rich.
Hello.
So anybody that's been to the bar will have probably seen, certainly kind of last year when we were in 4 months we were allowed to be open, Rich was on the front door. So anybody that walked in the front door, you'd have seen Rich. And he was doing all of our capturing details of people, doing all the track and trace stuff, managing our bookings while he was on the front door, and seating people at tables, and being a general genial host, I guess.
Thank you very much.
The maitre, is it maitre d'? What's a maitre d'? What does a maitre d' do? Do you know?
Just stand around looking pleasant, and yeah.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better person to stand around looking pleasant.
Oh, Chris, too much.
So that's what Rich was doing this year. But prior to that, he was working on a bar, so you'd have seen him behind the bar as well, and serving drinks and greeting you with a smile, basically. In the meantime, since then, I guess it was about last year, you probably took on an additional role.
Yeah, I think it was January last year. Yeah, was the sales stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody that's been doing trade with us, I know again niche kind of market for a live event like this, but Rich has been doing a lot of our trade sales since around January last year, and doing a sterling job of keeping in touch with all of our trade customers, whether that's pubs and bars, obviously around the country that we deliver to regularly. Or whether that's the off licenses and bottle shops and can shops and things like that around the country as well that we also deliver to. Keeping in touch with them, looking for new customers as well and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's changed a lot, as you can imagine. It started in January, so January, very quiet month. This is pre-COVID, obviously. February, March, gearing up for it, and then March hits. It's been a crazy year. Pubs opening, then closing, and keeping the stock down, getting the stock up.
Just when you feel you're getting used to it, everything changes.
Yeah. And similarly, off licenses. So when the pubs are open, the demand for cans shoots up, and then when the pubs open, theirs goes down. It's just kind of been a crazy year. At the moment, obviously, there's no pubs to sell to, so kegs sales are they're not really there at the moment. But it's all about cans really. A lot of the breweries are getting more into cans. So it's just establishing links with all the bottle shops around the country, really. Where do we deliver most? We've got a good sort of M6 route, Manchester.
Yeah, we do. So we effectively, or we would have normally, I guess, over about a 4 or 5 week period, we'd do a week and travel up the M6.
Yeah.
We'd probably do the M1, so going more to Yorkshire and Leeds and places like that, Leeds, Sheffield, those kind of places. Then I guess we'd have spent a week and gone. We'd do the A14 run and things like that, and go out to probably not every month, but
yeah. I mean, that's one that we haven't touched since lockdown, really, because there's not really many bottle shops out that way.
What tended to happen, wasn't it? Particularly as we were coming out of lockdown and into the kind of restricted opening, is people really focused on local. And rather than buying in from all across the country, I mean, the kind of logistics of moving beer across the country is complicated anyway, but also the kind of the responsibility side of things of having people do unneeded and necessary kind of travel and things. I mean, deliveries are necessary, but yeah, to kind of have people travelling miles and miles across the country constantly, really, from a lot of breweries, it's potentially a bit needless. So people tended to kind of shrink inwards, didn't they? And
definitely, there was a massive focus on local. So a lot of the Manchester customers we'd still get the occasional, but less demand. But they were looking at sort of the Manchester breweries. But we obviously benefited from Birmingham area, really, which we go to every 2 or 3 weeks, really. Don't we?
We do Birmingham. Birmingham is on our doorstep effectively, so it's easy to get into. We generally, I think we would do Birmingham as often as we could. Essentially, it just makes sense to obviously combine it into a single delivery. And obviously, anything closer than Birmingham, we like anybody local to us, we deliver whenever they want to us. Basically, if they order us one day, we might even have it out to them that afternoon. If they're down the road, sort of thing, it doesn't make any sense not to. In fact, I've done that. We've had orders come in effectively. I think places like the Cross has ran out of something, and they've just phoned us, or the Castle Yard and places like that will phone us and they'll say, such and such has been really popular. Have you got another one? We'll just go and take it down. It's delivered within 10 or 15 minutes, effectively. So, anybody like that we'll go to as soon as possible. But Birmingham is a good one, isn't it? So that kind of brings us neatly onto the next subject, effectively. So, as I mentioned, one of the things that I wanted to do was kind of big up some of our trade customers as well, to kind of give you a bit of an indication of exactly how far afield we travel. I know a lot of the people that watch this regularly are local, so that's great, and you can always drop into us at any time. But whenever you're travelling around the country, you might be interested to know, if you go up to somewhere, then you might see one of our beers, and it could be in the most obtuse of places that you would never think about. But effectively, we also want to champion those kind of places that we think are worthwhile you visiting if you're ever in any of those areas. So last week I mentioned Beermoth in Manchester, who have been quite a customer of ours for quite a long time. But again, they've kind of renewed little bit of focus, haven't we? We've done a few deliveries to them through lockdown.
Yeah, they've been a good customer, actually. Yeah, very good customer. Yeah.
But again, staying a little bit local, I wanted, again, because Rich kind of talks to a lot of these people relatively regularly, I wanted to stay a little bit more local, so I asked Rich to kind of recommend a couple of places in Birmingham. And there are a few that I actually have ordered from us very, very recently, so if anybody is out for work, or if you're looking for somewhere to go from the middle of April onwards, and you're heading into Birmingham, then you might want to check these places out. If you don't know about them already, it's worth making a bit of detour when you're on a night out in Birmingham potentially. So, well, I say a night out. One of them is an off license. So, although they do have a tap room. Go on, I'll take it away, Rich. I'll let you talk about a couple of them.
Cherry Reds, anyone know that? Cherry Reds in Birmingham, that's on John Bright Street, Birmingham, B1 postcode. So they are reopening in April. They've been open off and on, but they're certainly reopening in April, and they've got a cask of ours on order, and they're going to have some cans. So Cherry Reds, I've not, to my shame, I've not been to Cherry Reds. It's on my list to go, so as soon as lockdown is over, I'm going to have a much needed trip to Birmingham, and Cherry Reds is going to be top of my list.
We've worked with Cherry Reds for a long time as a brewery. They did used to have two places in Birmingham. They had another place in Kings Heath. I think that one's closed down, and I think they focused their efforts into the central location. They do fantastic breakfasts, all day breakfasts as well. So you don't have to just get there for the morning to enjoy one of them. Yeah, have a breakfast at any time of the day. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, they're a lovely little pub. Joe's absolutely fantastic. They, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, we like to talk about people that are very similar to us. They're independent, they're small business, and they do some great work, and they try and do as much as they can for like the community, and particularly the beer community locally as well. A fantastic champion of breweries in the area. So, they're at if you go to Birmingham, I would recommend. They're a stone's throw from Grand Central, from the Birmingham Central Station. So if you go to, if I'm sure probably most people have been to Brewdog, or know where Brewdog is in Birmingham. They're literally opposite Brewdog, in that kind of little cool street, John Bright Street, down the road from the Victoria, I think, isn't it as well? The Victoria
Don't ask me.
Theatre and things like that.
Birmingham too well. I'm not a local.
This is another facet of being a Scouse as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, Cherry Red's open from mid-April. Now these two I'm going to mention now are off licenses in Birmingham. So you've got Connolly's. They are on Livery Street B3, and I've also got an off license in Solihull. So they're regular stockists of our cans. They've just bought a whole lot in very recently. And they do free delivery over £50 orders to all Birmingham postcodes. So if you're in that area, buy some beer. And the other one, another good customer is Cotteridge Wines, and they are in Sturchley.
Yeah, again, Cotteridge are probably one that a lot of people will have heard of. They're regularly voted, come out very highly on the Rate Beer Awards.
Yes.
As one of the best, not just locally, but certainly one of the best off-licence in the country. They do have a tap house at the back as well, so they do crack some kegs open and have a small little garden space at the back of their shop. But yeah, they're one of those where you just go in and you're floored by how many beers they have from how many different breweries they have and things like that. So certainly, Sturchley's just on the outskirts of Birmingham Centre. So if you're in and around that area as well, then definitely. Or even if you're just driving past, to be honest, it's relatively straightforward to kind of take a bit of a detour if you're coming past Birmingham as well. They're always worth going into. And picking up something interesting and something you might not have seen before. They have a bit of sway as well, so they do get some beers that some others don't necessarily get in. Certainly some international things, and they tend to be so. A lot of things that happen with some breweries these days is like limited release, or like a exclusivity release. So they'll send some out to some specific bars or off licenses. For like a launch night, and they'll have a special available everywhere on this night from this night, and then available generally everywhere else the following nights essentially. So yeah, they tend to be one of those that kind of gets in because they've just got a really good attitude again. They love good beer, and they love selling good beer, and they love championing good breweries as well. So yeah, they're a good off license to pass by if you're anywhere near it. So Yeah.
So we got a whole host of other Birmingham customers as well, but we're not going to mention them this week. We'll tease them next week, or the few pubs as the pubs start reopening. We've got good customers, and we'll give them a shout out.
Brilliant. Yeah. So before we carry on, just a couple of things. So I think Rich hasn't been. This is the first time you've been in here. When was the last time you were here? Do you think end of October would it have been when we were last open?
Possibly in here working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We had a staff meeting to be in
Beginning of December, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the last time. Yeah.
But effectively working was end of October. So what have you been up to since?
What have I been up to since? God, when you asked me this,
since then, yeah.
You asked me this earlier, and I wrote a list down. The list is depressingly small. It's like, what do you go up to in lockdown?
Not a lot. Same as everybody else. Getting by.
I know. Well, I've been doing a little bit of sales stuff, obviously, but that's reduced because all the pubs are closed. So a little bit of sales stuff. That's to keep my mind active. Lots of dog walking. I'm working out. I'm doing probably about 20 miles a week dog walking with the dog and the missus if she's off as well. Which is good for body and mind and soul, to keep me sane, that one. What else is on my list? I've got my homebrew shed has been sadly neglected. I'm waiting for some new kits, which I've got my eye on, so I'll be getting back on homebrew.
So it's a perfect opportunity to crank it up and get it going, isn't it?
I need some new kit, but I'm selling lots of stuff at the moment to generate the funds for new kit. So I've sold I've told my missus I've sold the Xbox, but I haven't really. I've sold the games for it.
You know she can.
She's not watching.
She
won't
watch
be watching now.
If
she's watching, I've sold the Xbox.
Yeah. Okay.
Darling, I've sold the Xbox. What else?
On Facebook.
Just doing lots of reading, really. Lots of reading. I can't seem to finish a book now. I've got about 5 on the go. I don't know what's going on. I'm reading Anthony Kiedis, the Chili Peppers.
Is it biography?
Autobiography, yeah.
Okay, how's that?
Lots of drugs.
Surely not.
Interesting, yeah. He started young as well, bloody hell. Anyway, yeah, it's a good read, actually.
I can't believe that.
Was he babysitted by, who was he babysitted? Was it Cher or something like that? So he had, it's fascinating anyway, it's good, but it's lots of drugs anyway. What else have I been doing? Let's have lots of crap on Netflix. Isn't there a lot of crap on Netflix?
Go on, what's your top Netflix recommendation?
I can't even remember, mate. I've watched so much rubbish. I can't remember what I've watched. It's decent, really.
So I've just started watching. We've just finished the first season of Snowpiercer. That's a proper throwaway.
Right.
What was it? It was last year, actually. Thinking about a year ago, it was what's his name, wasn't it? Tiger King.
Oh, I've not watched that.
That's what everybody was into last year. No, I think we watched it about 3 months after everybody else, which is usually what we do. We tend to be a bit slow and then kind of binge something. But yeah, Snowpiercer, we've just finished the first season.
Okay, put it on my list. No, I seriously can't remember what I just put in my True Detective. That's been out for ages, but I've watched that one quite recently. That's very good.
Like the first one, a True Detective. I think the second and third. Well, I didn't watch the third one, but the second one I didn't finish. First season was very good.
Best one, yeah.
Really good.
So lots of crap. And is it 90% of stuff on Netflix is rubbish, isn't it? Anyway,
you still watch it anyway, because what else are you going to do?
It's it. House and garden stuff. So cleaned out the shed, rebuilt the garden wall, just stuff like that. There's lots of painting I need to do.
It's the same as everybody else that's stuck at home on furlough and whatnot, isn't it? Effectively, just whatever you can pass the time.
Cooking dinner for them, growing silly moustaches as well. I've had a Mexican one. I just trimmed it a little bit. That's a bit of a pastime as well.
I think that's why I just saw Janet said that Alan thinks you look like Deputy Dog.
Yeah, I've been doing,
so that's probably
been honing my Deputy Dog look as well. Yeah.
So you can't wait till you get back in.
No, absolutely. Sanity. I think you convince yourself you're not going mad in lockdown, but who knows? Who knows?
You just have to take each day, don't you? So there you go. That's a bit of an introduction to Rich. Hopefully we'll get you behind the bar again soon.
Yes, it'll be nice.
And we can say hello to all of our customers and bring you back. But here's like a few things to look forward to. So I mentioned at the beginning that we've got a few more upcoming beers. So the focus the last few months, certainly since kind of November, December, has been canned, because obviously we've not been able to open. So there's not been no point putting loads of beer into kegs, because there's nowhere to drink it or
Yeah.
anything like that. We have put, we've been doing the draft beers that we've been doing the last few months because, as you can see behind us, we've got the taps and we've been selling the 750ml bottles through the website as well. So obviously they're still going. We do still have kegs available for those, so by all means take a look. But it's been a limited supply of kegs over the past few months. However, going forward, yeah, we're kind of aiming towards getting a few more, obviously, ready for when places can open and trade can pick up and things like that, which is obviously on the horizon and things. Can-wise, we've got a couple of upcoming beers. I mentioned them last week, actually, so I won't go into loads of detail. We've got the next of the Wrapped In Galaxy, and we have so I think, did I mention this? I can't even remember now. We have a new stout. And stouts have done really well recently. There was the marshmallow stout, and what else did we have? I can't. My mind goes completely blank whenever I end up putting myself on the spot. Peanut butter, yeah. The Halloween in January as well. That went really well. So We Are Prom Girls. That was fantastic, and the peanut butter stout was also fantastic. So we've got another one ready for Easter. What does everybody get at Easter?
Easter egg.
Yes,
Easter egg. Easter egg beer.
So everybody kind of, well, it's a chocolate beer. So we've got Madagascar vanilla chocolate stout.
I struggled with that one. It's when you went like that.
The
I got
shape.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody gets Easter eggs at Easter. That's what they're famous for. So yeah, we thought we'd go down the chocolate route and kind of have a chocolate beer for Easter. Loads of cocoa, loads of vanilla pods. And lots and lots of chocolatey goodness. Had a good taste of it this morning. Actually, it's really nice and thick and chocolatey and things like that.
I'll have to taste that. All shout-outs.
We do have more collabs with Green Duck. Yes, Alex. Come on, I mention you enough, guys. Come on. No, yeah, Alex. Yeah, obviously, Alex is in the comments there. Alex is the head brewer at Green Duck. And yes, we do have more collabs coming up. One of the brew days is going to be part of the collab. We'll bring some of the people into the actual collaboration brew as well. But yeah, we have got more plans for those. I'm not going to go into those at the moment because I don't want to release. I don't want to tease you too. It's all about teasing you, isn't it? And just keeping you coming back. I've got to have something to make you come back and listen to me next week because I'm not enough. That's why I got Rich on, just to kind of spice things up a little bit. So, but yeah, other upcoming beers. So yes, more like I say, more kegs. So we've got another Detroit Sour City will be coming up. So hopefully, as the weather gets better and it gets a bit more quaffable and easy drinking as the weather warms up, then that'll be great. We've also got Goes Town, another triple berry Goes. Which again is always good in those summer months as well. We've got a new beer that we wanted. We tried to get this done last year. Actually, it was on the brew schedule last October time, but the world decided that wasn't going to happen. So we've got Fork, which is a dark fruits pale. That's all I can say about it at the moment. I don't. Rich is just over the corner. Do you know what dark fruits you're going to be putting into it yet? Blackcurrant and blackberry. In unison. So yes, blackcurrant and blackberry dark fruits pale. I know, Janet, you just said the chocolate one sounds delicious, but I can imagine that you're probably drooling over the Fork dark fruits pale as well. And then a rebrew of Kazan, and one of our other kind of juicy hazy pale beers that always goes down very, very well. So yeah, all of those coming up. So when you do come in and when we open up, like I say, in April or soon after the 12th of April, those all should be available for you when we open. Or if not from us, then from one of our other trade suppliers like Cherries and places like that when they open as well. So yeah, looking forward to it. I think so. I always hate going on too long on these things and dragging it out because we've all got. I'm hoping that people have either enjoyed their lunch watching both of us or.
Can I do a shout out, Chris?
You could go on then.
Hello, Katie. Katie from the Wirral. There we go. She's. But you're wondering.
Oh, is that Katie?
I bet you're wondering.
Ducky.
That's
I skipped past that one.
That's my Wirral.
Didn't know what to say about that.
That's my Wirral nickname. That is.
Ducky.
Yeah. Oh no, you announced it across the air now.
Wow.
There we go.
They'd have seen it. You do realise how Facebook works.
Does everybody else see all those? Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's out. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We'll savour explaining it
Anyway,
until another day.
Are you well, Katie? Say hello to Ainsley. Yeah.
All right,
Sorry,
you could
go
just
on.
pick up the phone and talk.
Go on, I should do, eh?
Okay, yeah, but otherwise, thank you very much for listening and watching. And if you have any questions, then by all means, pop them into the comments again, and I'll either pick them up in between or we'll cover them next week. Again, as usual, please give us a like, give us a share on the video, and get the information out there. We're counting on you, our ever supportive watchers and listeners, to keep spreading the good word about Twisted Barrel, and make sure that we get people jumping on our online shop and buying and waiting for us to open and coming in and spending your cold hard cash over the bar. I'm sorry to say it, but that's it. It's business at the end of the day as well. Yeah, I've also, you can find us on YouTube now as well. So all of the live things I also post onto our YouTube channel as well. But they're always available on Facebook immediately after we've gone live as well. So yeah, thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
For not coming in especially, but taking the time anyway when you've come in to do the sales stuff.
All right, I look forward to going home and warming up.
Yeah.
It's
I've
cold
said it
in here.
before, it's so cold in here when you get stood around. It's amazing how much colder it goes when there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
Just imagine how Richie feels when he's here on his own, and he's got not even got anybody. You couldn't even hug anybody anyway, even if he wanted to.
He hasn't even got a coat on either. Look.
He's hardy. He's growing hard to it. We're just watching him over in the corner. He's eating his. He's probably got some sort of a chili or a curry or something in front of him. Anyway, thank you again, everybody. So I will see you next week. Until that time, until that occasion, have a great week and enjoy. Let us know what you've been drinking. I might start doing a bit of a what you've been drinking session, actually. I've been thinking about it, but just kind of trying to figure out how it works. So let us know, drop us a message, and we will speak to you and see you next week. Thank you very much, folks. Bye-bye.
See ya. We're gone.